Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you online again. Today we are going to deal with Unit 11 Grammar, the third conditional. Of course, you remember the second conditional. If I were a footballer, I would be Messi. If I had money, I would buy a Rolls Royce, which expresses impossible event in the present. Now, third conditional is used when. When can we use the third conditional? We use the third conditional to express an impossible event in the past. Impossible event in the past. For example, if I had got a lot of money, I would have bought a big palace. This means I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't buy a big palace. It was impossible in the past and it's still impossible in the present, by the way. So we use the third conditional to express an impossible past event, impossible event in the past. Okay? What is the form of third conditional? Third conditional form. The form of third conditional: F plus past perfect. To remember, past perfect consists of had plus PP, past participle. We studied it last time. F plus past perfect. The next sentence would have plus PP, past participle. Okay? So, very simple. F is followed by past perfect. The next sentence or the second sentence would have plus PP, past participle. So we use past participle on both two sentences. The main clause, past perfect. The second sentence would have plus past participle. Okay? Okay? Example. If you had finished your work early, you would have played video games. Of course, when you finish your homework, you can play video game. In the past, this means you didn't finish and you didn't play video games. But not if you had finished. This is past perfect. The second sentence, you would have played. Would have played. Sentence number 2. If you had been in Russia, this also past perfect again, you would have watched the World Cup matches. Would have watched the World Cup matches. Had been, past perfect. The next sentence, you would have watched the World Cup matches. Okay. More forms. Or let me ask you a question. What would you have done if you had a lot of money? Critical question. If I had a lot of money, I would have bought a private plane. This is for me. Private plane. This is for me. What about you? Check yourself. What would you have done? Or what would you have done? What would you have done if you had a lot of money? Check your answers. What's the difference between these two sentences? Third conditional form. We're still with the form. If you had been to France, you would have studied French very well. You would have studied French very well if you had been to France. What's the difference? Okay, we used F in the beginning and we used F in the middle of the sentence. Okay? Do you have a change in meaning? No. Good. So not that. We can use F in the beginning and in the middle of the sentence without changing the meaning. Okay? If you started with F, if you put F in the middle of the sentence, the same meaning of the sentence. Okay? There is no difference of the meaning. Okay? To sum up, summary. F plus past perfect, the form of F. This is for the exam. Pay attention, please. If plus past perfect. What is past perfect? Had plus past participle. The next sentence would have plus PP. So in the exam, if you find past perfect, look for or search for would have plus PP. If you found would have plus past participle, look for past perfect for choice or multiple choice question. Okay? If you find this, look for this one. If you find past perfect, look for would have. If you found would have, look for past perfect. Exercise. If you hadn't studied well, you would have failed, failing, fails. Failed. Excellent. Because would have is followed by past participle. Failed. Failed. Thank you. Now let's move to your student book, page 1010. Be patient, please. Just a moment. Just a moment. Unit 11. History. The forms, if condition, past perfect. If I had seen Pam, I would have told this more extra exams. Okay, and the usage. Look at these two sentences. If you had been an indigenous person in America in the 16th century, you wouldn't have wanted the Europeans to find you. Of course, if they found you, they would have killed you. Okay, summarize these two sentences. You write two sentences, but put comma between both of them. If they're just in the middle, add a comma. You'll find the solution here. Okay? Answers. Just add a comma between the two sentences, and it is done. This is only. I made one, and you will do the another. If you had been an indigenous person in America in the 16th century, you wouldn't have wanted the Europeans to find you. I just added a comma between the two sentences, and this is finished. This is the solution of this exercise. Just add comma between the two sentences. Perfect. Now, let's have a look at page 111. 111. Okay. Match. Match the sentences halves. Okay. I made it also for you, but not all the sentences. I'm sorry. Match. Sentence number 1. As we used to do, look, see what can you do, then check the answers in the PowerPoint. Okay? If I had studied more, yes, good. I would have passed the history exam. I would have passed the history exam. Right? Suitable matching. If I had studied more, I would have passed the history exam. Sentence number 2. If I hadn't studied so much, okay? If I hadn't studied okay, think about it. Good. I wouldn't have passed the history exam. I wouldn't have passed the history exam. Okay, this is difference. This sentence is different. Okay, this is different from the next one. This is negative. One used wouldn't, one used would. Check. Yes, good. If I hadn't studied so much, I wouldn't have passed the history exam. Right. I wouldn't have failed the history exam. It's all about the history exam, by the way. Yes? Good. If I hadn't been so stressed about remembering all the details. Remembering all the details. Good. Number 4. The class would have failed the history exam if those easy questions hadn't come up. Good, good. Number 5 and 6 is homework for you. Let's move to the next question. Summary. Exercise C. Complete the sentences using the correct form of the verbs in the brackets. Okay? If people, of course, people F followed by past perfect. Okay? If people hadn't been so poor in the past, fewer people would have died. Would have died. Let me check the answers with you. Okay. Hadn't been, would have died. Student book, page 111. Hadn't been, would have died. If people not discover fire, they not be able to cook meat. Yes, F is followed by past perfect. Hadn't discovered. Yes, hadn't discovered. Had plus PP. Hadn't discovered fire. They wouldn't have been able to cook meat. Good. Good. Number 3. Agriculture be more effective in the past if people know more about science. Agriculture means cultivation or landing or cultivating land, growing crops. Agriculture had been, yes, had, I must use had. Sorry, agriculture would have been more effective in the past if people had known more about science. This is the next sentence. F is followed by past perfect. So the next sentence is would have been. Agriculture would have been more effective in the past if people had known more about science. Check answer. Like we learned. Would have been, had known. Good. Sentence number 4. If all children had gone, of course, had gone to school, even the poor would have learned. Learn, you know that we have two past participle for learn. One learned and the other is learned. One with T, one with ed. How to read. Sorry. If all children had gone to school, even the poor would have learned how to read. 5 and 6 are for you. Now let's give a look on the workbook. Be patient, please. Don't talk, I can't see you. Good. Exercise number 1. You can see he wants. Write the past participle of each verb. No. Let me check answers first. It's found, of course. That's it. Okay? These are the answers. No. Known. What's the past participle of stay? stayed. Stayed is a past participle with ed. Can it regular? Regular past participle. Bring. Brought. Bring. Brought. This past participle of bring. Get. Got or gotten. Got or gotten. Past participle of see. Seen. See, saw, seen. Past participle of believe. Believed. Believed. Watch. Watched. Watched. The rest are homework for you from 8 to 12. You do it yourself. I can check it with you. I can check it with you on the groups. Next question. Circle the correct verb forms in each sentence. If you had gone or went, it's very easy. Past perfect, would have. Good. First one, had gone, then would have met. Right. Second sentence, I would have studied F or had studied. Of course, would have studied because F here in the middle. You can see F in the middle. So had, okay, had known. Of course, use past perfect after F. The next sentence is would have studied. Would have studied. Good. To check answers. Yes, exercise B. Had gone, would have met. Number 2, would have studied, had not. This exercise exercise A, I'm sorry. The past participle. I made 7 and the rest is homework for you. This is exercise B. Let us check. Tariq hadn't broken. Where is F? It is in the middle. F in the middle. Okay, so it's followed by past perfect. Where is past perfect? Wouldn't have or hadn't play? Hadn't play. Good. This one. The next sentence. Past perfect or would have? Would, wouldn't have. Would or wouldn't. Good students. Wouldn't have broken. That's right, of course. Number 4. They would have won, had won. Okay, where is F? That's F. Okay. F is followed by hadn't made or wouldn't have. Yes, past perfect. Right. What the answer? Next sentence. Would have or had won? Yes, would have won. Assembly in the exam. You find past perfect. You look for would have. If you found would have, look for past perfect. Sentence number 5. If we had watched more documentaries in history classes. Okay, F. Look for F. Followed by what? Past perfect. Oh, excellent. Had watched. The next sentence. Would have enjoyed. Check answers. Had watched, would have enjoyed. 6 and 7 made for you. Yes. Thank you, everyone. The rest are homework for you. Nice to meet you. I wish you to receive your questions at the times pinpointed on your groups. I'm all ears to listen to your questions. Thank you for all ears, for your paying attention and your patience. I wish you all good. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.